Okay, first graders. So the first thing you want to do is get your own blank piece of paper. It has lines on it. That's okay. Make sure it's blank. You are going to want to draw. You can use a marker to do this or a pen so it's nice and dark. 3 circles because we are going to be using 3 different colors for talking with lights. If you want to trace something like a cup or something, you can, but you want to make sure that you can fit 3 somewhat of a circle on a piece of paper, just like a stoplight. Next to each one of those circles, you're going to draw a line. And this is how you're going to communicate with your partner. Now, you need to do 2 papers like this. 1 paper you're going to have and the other paper your partner's going to have. Go ahead and draw this now. Now that you have 2 papers that look the same, we're going to decide what each color, where each color will be and what it will mean. If you do not have 2 papers with the 3 circles and the lines on it, please pause the video and do that now. Okay, so we're going to have 3 colors. We are going to color in our 3 colors. The top one is red, so I like to trace it first. And then I do my very best coloring. You really want to make sure there aren't any white spots inside the whole circle. Marker works the best for this activity. If you don't have a marker and you need to use a crayon, you could try that. But like I said, marker's definitely the best. And then we will do our next color. Same thing. We want to trace with our marker. And as I'm coloring in, I'm leaving some white spots, but I definitely want to go back in. I don't want it to be scribbled. The darker it is, the better your partner is going to be able to see your message. The last color is green. And this green is getting a little bit dried out, so I'm going to have to work a little harder on this one to really make sure that I don't have any white spots. Okay, once you have all 3 colored in, you will need to do the same thing to this page so that they match. If you do not have both papers with the 3 lights colored in, go ahead and pause the video now and get those colored in. If you are ready to go, then continue playing the video. You are going to take a pencil or a pen and sit down and decide with your partner or your mom or dad or whoever you're playing this game with, what is each color going to mean? So my partner and I have decided that red means hop on 1 foot. And it has to be the same for them because this is our code. If I show you the red light, I'm going to look and say, oh, that means hop on 1 foot. They need to have the same code, hop on 1 foot. You could make them dab, you could make them twirl, you could make them bark like a dog, you could make them meow like a cat, you could make them sit down, you could make them do jumping jacks, whatever you want. So you're going to decide with your partner, what is red going to mean? What is blue going to mean? And it has to be the same. And what is the green going to mean? So go ahead and pause this video now until you have your 3 ideas or 3 actions that you're going to make each other do. Now, here's the tricky part. You are both either going to need a flashlight or a cell phone or something that shines light. You could probably even do a lamp if you're really tricky with it and you can move the lamp around. But you need some sort of light because you are going to shine that light in the dark through the picture. So if you're using a cell phone, it will look like this. You'll get the light, and when you shine it on that color, it will light it up. So your partner across the room can see what color that you're showing them, and then they will look at their paper and say, oh, green means to sit down. I need to sit down. So you will practice telling each other what to do, what action to do, by shining the light from a cell phone or from a flashlight through the paper. They should be looking at the back side of your paper. They shouldn't be seeing it. You should be looking at the front.
Hold your worksheet up with one hand and shine your flashlight over the different colored circles. Can you see the color coming through the other side of the paper? Try moving your flashlight closer and farther from your worksheet. Does anything change? What position would make the best signal? Take a few seconds to decide between you and your partner who's going to be the first one to be the sender and who will be the watcher. Now don't worry, you'll both have a turn at each job. Okay, you ready to take a few seconds and decide? Go ahead now. Okay, have you decided? It's time to turn off the lights and cover any windows. Both of you go to opposite sides of the room. Don't forget to bring your worksheet and flashlight. Sender. Send one message using your worksheet and flashlight. For example, this sender is sending a red light. Watcher, do what the message says. Like maybe red means spin, so the watcher should spin. After you send one message, go to the next step. Switch roles and do it again. Then keep going. Each person do 3 turns. Do whichever colors you'd like. When each person has gone 3 times, then go to the next step.
Could you send messages to each other using only a light? Like, can you tell somebody something across the room without talking? You can only use a light to tell them what you want to tell them. How could you send more than 3 messages using just 3 colors? So you have your blue light, your green light, and your red light. That's 3 messages. Red says something, blue says something, green says something. What if you want to send more than 3 messages? What if you want to have 6 different messages? How could you send those other messages but only still having the color red, blue, and green? What ideas do you have?
So how could you come up with more than 3 messages using just 3 colors? Well, there are lots of different ways to solve the problem. Here are 2 ideas we came up with. For one of our ideas, we used a flashing light to mean something other than a solid light. For example, while you might have a solid red light mean wave your hands, a flashing red light could mean something different, like jump on 1 foot. Here's another idea we had. What if you switched quickly back and forth between 2 colors to mean something different? For example, if green means jump and blue means spin in a circle, then maybe switching back and forth between the green and blue could mean put your hands on your head while spinning in a circle. Now, all of what we just did was useful for communicating to a friend in the room or a friend across the street. But what if you wanted to send a message using light to an entire city? Well, let me tell you one last story. It might help get you thinking about some new ideas. There was once an inventor who invented a giant flashlight that he could use to shine a message up onto the clouds. Now, this is true. This really happened. He called this invention the sky projector. His dream was to be able to send messages to everyone in a town using this giant flashlight. For example, he tried to project the time up onto the clouds to act like a clock so that everyone in the town could always know what time it was. He even used his sky projector to send holiday greetings to everyone during the winter season. But the sky projector turned out to cost too much money. It needed lots of electricity for a light that was so bright, and it was really heavy. So it was decided not to make any more sky projectors. But the idea of the sky projector really excited people. It got them thinking. It led the creators of a comic called Batman to come up with the idea for the now famous bat signal, if you've ever heard of that. In the story of Batman, when the city of Gotham needs Batman's help, they turn on the bat signal, a giant light that has the shape of a bat over the light, so that Batman can look up and see when he's needed. Maybe you can think of a way to make your own bat signal. What kind of message would you want to send to an entire city? Think about that. Have fun and stay curious.